Hi, I'm Wayward, and this is Universe at War. I am really excited to bring you another match. This is a little older, but the community is not super duper active, so I'm taking what I can get. I have for you today Unlucky as the blue Novus, and at the bottom left corner of the map, MelonFace22 as the red Hierarchy. This being red versus blue, I believe this was a ladder match. Interestingly enough, the ladder for this still does work because it's using Games for Windows Live, which is of course the Windows Live architecture, which is of course the Xbox architecture. So interestingly enough, even though you can't purchase the game, if you do get it to run, if you find a copy and a key, it actually works fine. So anyway, of course the normal caveat does apply. The replay interface doesn't work as great as you would want. I can only see the one player. In this case, it is Unlucky who submitted the replay. And I only have limited information I can provide about what MelonFace22 is doing. I'm just going to call him Melon for the duration of the match. For Unlucky, we have a lot of these constructor bots coming out. We have 2 recycling centers so far, and 1 robotics facility with a couple of Ownbots coming out for scouting. On Melon's part, we have, it looks like, 2 Reaper drones so far, 3, 4 coming down. Now, of course, in Universe at War, everything has a fixed quantity, a max quantity that can be built. For Reaper drones, there's a max of 7, so only 3 more of those can come out right now. And for the Novus, there's a max of 5 recycling centers at any given time. Now, this is one problem with getting all these constructors out. Unlucky has a bunch of them sitting around doing nothing. Now, later on in the match, having a bunch of them out is going to be a good thing, but this early, I feel like, 5 is probably more than he needs. Looks like another flow generator coming out. That's an interesting choice. Has taken both of these laser turrets. I think that's a really good idea. Possibly going to try to steal these ones as well, which would slow down any incoming hierarchy aggression. But 2 flow generators right next to each other. So how this works is it kind of works like power in Command & Conquer, or pylons for the Protoss in StarCraft. The flow generator sends out energy through these flow conduits, and anything built next to the flow conduit gains power. So you take out the flow generator, and you take out everything on the network. But with a backup generator, it would provide power for everything that it was connected to. Now, they're relatively close together in this situation, so if one of them is attacked, it's really easy to kill the other one. So probably a bit of a mistake there. Not a huge one, especially if nothing gets this close, this far into Unlucky's base, but a potential problem later in the match. Additionally, 2 flow generators, that's 800 resources that he could have built something else with. We do see these other 2 military laser turrets have been captured, and down here the first walker is coming out for MelonFace. This is the detection drone. There's, Ohms are going to scout that walker glyph and know that bad stuff is coming Unlucky's way in the near future. Anyway, the detection drone provides radar for the hierarchy and also has a scanner sweep ability to allow them to scan the map. Now, of course, the hierarchy, this is one of the more iconic things in the game. These walkers are a combination of base and assault platform. They can crush units underfoot, crush buildings underfoot, except for the command center structure. And they train units, and they have weapons, and they can be upgraded with a variety of different hard points that can be outfitted for assault or production. I believe this one is being outfitted for assault. These are weapons accelerators to make it fire faster, and these are range enhancers to make it fire further. These Reaper drones are relatively safe, but this walker is in danger of losing some of its hard points to these laser turrets. So Melon making a big mistake here, walking this walker up into the range of these laser turrets, which are actually very powerful. Melon is going to take the turret out and not sustain a ton of damage. Got some units coming out. Grunts, it is the most powerful infantry unit in the game by far. Or most powerful starting infantry, I should say. That's a caveat. Gonna try to capture it, but we will see. Nope, goes down instead. Now, Unlucky has really unlocked his production, really going nuts with that Novus economy. Got a couple of these antimatter tanks out. Antimatter tanks are a fun unit, but they're really not very powerful. So he is going to be able to do some damage by massing them, but probably would need to boost that with something else. We do have air units coming out. These corruptors are nasty little units. They actually can be masked pretty effectively, but also they have a virus debuff they can apply to things that slows it down and makes it gives the Novus player vision. Got some more grunts coming out to put some pressure on Unlucky. Now this map is a tough one because all you have to get across the map are these little bridges, and if they're all destroyed, then you're basically resigned to using only air units against your enemy, or with the hierarchy they can walk walkers across water and stuff. So we'll have to see if that comes into play at all. Now, of course, grunts can only attack ground units, so these corruptors can make a nuisance of themselves. We have no anti-air right now at all, actually, from MelonFace, which is going to be a problem as these corruptors. They don't do much damage, but you can see they're basically going unopposed. Now, the detection drone's scanner sweep, if Melon were to use that on his walker, would cleanse this virus right away, but of course he doesn't. It actually looks like there is a crossing path here in some shallow water that units can walk on. So that is one potential way to get through there as well. Capturing that turret, that's a good move from Unlucky, or rather from MelonFace. Gonna turn that right around and use it against the Novus player. Unlucky, I think, wisely pulling back, but there's only so much more he can pull back before that walker's right in his base. Let's take a quick look while we're going. Oh, I did see. So we do have higher tech out for Unlucky. We have some higher tier units. These wave amplifiers act kind of like ground-based void rays. The longer they attack, the more damage they do, and the field inverter has a railgun that can attack ground or air units. So this walker going pretty much unopposed, not really doing a lot yet, but it is in prime position to make a big nuisance of itself. We have these Blade Troopers. They are one of the scariest units in the game, actually. They're very fast, they're very strong, they can duplicate themselves to deal bonus damage, and they have those Blackout Grenades, which prevents units in the range of the Blackout Grenade from attacking or receiving instructions at all. So those Blade Troopers kill that tower. This army is pretty much cleaned up, but we do have these redirection turrets coming up. Now, redirection turrets are one of my favorite turrets in any game. Not only do they have an attack, as you see there, but incoming attacks, they will grab them and swing them around themselves and throw them back at the enemy. So they're actually a very powerful turret and a really neat idea. Okay, so we have this higher tier army, this small but higher tier army, coming out from Unlucky, and hopefully this will make something happen, else this walker is just going to crush everything. Those force fields are from the field inverters, and they protect units inside the range. It deals damage instead of to those units to the field inverter itself. Recycling Center taking some damage, but this walker is getting pretty low on health. How walkers work is, as they lose these crown hard points, it exposes a vulnerable weak point in the center, and when two of those weak points die, this walker is done. So Melon is really in danger of losing this, and there we go. There's a sell-off. I think that's a great idea, but unfortunately for Melon, dies before the sell-off is complete. Of course, back at Melon's base, he does have 2 additional walkers coming out. Now, these are assault walkers, or assembly walkers, rather, which are the vehicle production walker, where the other one up here was the habitat walker, or the infantry production walker. This army from Melon is getting pretty nasty. This is pretty standard for Novus in terms of later game strategy. You get a bunch of field inverters and a bunch of these amplifiers, and you just kind of use those to power down your enemy. It's pretty effective. I don't know if that's the phase tank. That pod there in the middle allows unit production of some unit or other. I do not remember which unit there. That's either the phase tank or the defiler. I think that's the defiler. The phase tank has a red glow to it, I believe. In terms of our patches, our Novus player has Spectrum Cycle, and I do not remember the name of this one, but Radiation Cooling or something. Deals less damage from... The units receive less damage from radiation attacks. This walker is going to be crushed, already losing one of its arms. Let's look real quick at the tech. Yeah, we are going down the flow branch. When he hits flow 4, that's kind of the peak aggression from the Novus player. Let's see. Yep, we do have defilers. They're surprisingly powerful, mostly useful against the Masari and infantry, but still not a bad unit. But getting in the middle of this really large, high-tier Novus army is just a bad idea. Melon making a bit of a tactical mistake there. The defiler's actually managing to push this army back, killing a lot of units. Like I said, they're surprisingly powerful. The conventional wisdom is that they're weak, but when you get a couple of them, they power things down faster than you'd think. And this other walker trying to catch up. Now, this is a bit of a mistake. No, so Defiler's attacks cannot be redirected by the redirection turret, but the turret is relatively strong with its base attack anyway. This, as I said, is, I think, a mistake. These Defilers are going to go down and not do much at all. MelonFace needs to take a pause, get his act together, get these walkers clumped up a little more to make sure that this assault is actually successful. We do have the black hole generator, so the Novus faction has 2 super weapons, the black hole generator, which basically destroys anything in its radius, and then, of course, the EM destabilizer, which is an EMP. This is a really bad move by Melon. This is a lot of resources that he's just throwing away. He really needs to sell this or retreat it or something. We do have one hero out for Unlucky, the Novus's founder hero. Not going to be able to destroy the walker, but able to provide some utility for the Novus player. I think more Defilers coming out, but they're not going to do as much as you would hope. And they're just going to be a waste of resources. Over here we have another walker. Again, I feel like this walker is just going to go down. It's going to be thrown away for nothing. You see it can attack even while it's EMP'd, but the massive damage from these upgraded wave amplifiers is just going to melt this probably before it even comes back online. No, there it is back online, but basically out of options. Melon trying to use these walkers to... Let's see if he gets the sell-off on that one. So he will get the sell-off on that walker. It will not die. But still a little bit of a visual glitch there. We do have also a hero out for MelonFace. This is Orlok. He has a map range artillery, which we saw those fireballs coming in before. This EM destabilizer is going to go down, but I don't know if it's a good trade to trade a walker for a super weapon. See, this walker is going to be destroyed before too much else happens. It's not able to produce anything. It's just going to die right next to this flow generator. It might kill the flow generator. But there are other flow generators like this one that's right next to it. So ultimately not really a win. That's a bit of a win, actually, that recycling center dying. So this walker managing to acquit something of itself, even though it's almost dead. Losing another recycling center, very bad for Unlucky. Losing 2 vehicle assemblies and probably the science center. So the walker actually managing to cut a pretty big hole in Unlucky's base before finally exploding. There it goes. And that's actually a lot of resources there that Unlucky can recoup from that walker. More defenses coming up. Looks like Melon is taking the opportunity to shore up his position a little bit. So we do see that some radiation damage is being done. I think that's a pretty good upgrade for the hierarchy. But Unlucky is a bit unlucky, if you pardon the bad joke, because he lost a lot of stuff. He lost several of his factories. He lost all of his high-tech, his access to high-tech units with the science center going down. And he has yet to deal any significant economic damage to MelonFace. So MelonFace, we do see a science walker. We actually have 2 science walkers. There's one there and another one coming out. We have... No, that is... Oh, that's not a science walker. That's the matter conduit. That's the super weapon for the hierarchy coming down. This assault assembly walker, rather, coming very close to Unlucky's base, and we have another one being built right here, plus this science walker that may decide to participate in combat at some point. Unlucky being overly cautious here. He does not want to really attack into this, but he has the opportunity to make something happen. These blade troopers are actually invisible right now. That's an upgrade for the Novus. So they are going to kill this turret, but probably taking more losses than they need to. Those ohms just being crushed, and these blade troopers taking about half their health and damage. Hierarchy turrets are really annoying to attack into, so probably amplifiers would be a good way to kill this, but that's a lot of turrets. T Walker now attacking. Let's see that vacuum. So that's probably going to about kill the walker with those amplifiers attacking it as well. That's going to be really bad for the walker. There, its arms go down, all that resources that was invested into making that walker more powerful. Now, that was pretty good, that walker being recouped, managing to kill another factory. So, oh, it dies before the sell-off completes. Another loss for Melon there. Let's take a quick look, though. It looks like we're running low on resources. That's some resources there, some resources there, some there. So, not completely out. It's like that's all been harvested. The map is slowly going to start to be denuded of resources, though. That's all consumed, it looks like. So this is where the hierarchy can get an advantage, because as resources run out for them... Oh, this is actually a problem. So Melon should be harvesting these. Each human is a flat 500 resources, and missing out on harvesting them is, what's that, 1,500 resources running away right there. So what Melon really needs to do, I think, that he's not doing, is he needs to get his walkers together, train up a small army, and then push out. Sending one after another walker into the Novus player's base is just feeding them walkers. It's feeding the resources from Melon over to Unlucky. And long-term, and we're reaching the point where long-term is a thing in this match, that's going to be very bad. There's a walker here that just got eaten by recyclers, and that's resources that basically Melon just fed to Unlucky. We do have a lot of amplifiers. This is a decent army, but too much more stuff lost for our Novus player is basically going to mean that he can't defeat his opponent. Once the resources are gone, they're gone. Let's see, I think... So we did lose the founder at some point and has teched over to Mirabelle, which is a really good harassment hero. There are some resources here in the middle of the map. Now, this is the sort of harassment that Melon needs to have been doing. Taking out a couple of Reaper drones is going to be... That is a nice little win there for Mirabelle and our Novus player. Now, Reaper drones do deal percentage-based damage to enemy health. So, being unwary with these Reapers actually could be bad for Mirabelle, because no matter what a Reaper's attacking, it attacks at about the same rate. Probably could have taken it out. So that's a decent-sized army, but attacking into all these turrets is going to be annoying, to say the least. And let's see. The Science Walker being upgraded with the Radiation Cascade. I don't see this very often, so this is technically a second super weapon for the Hierarchy player. The Radiation Cascade shoots a giant cone of radiation that deals a ton of damage. It's usually seen as not the most powerful super weapon and not really worth it, but against the Novus, it's actually pretty good. So we'll have to see if that actually gets used, and if it does, how it does. This Assembly Walker doing a little bit of walking in place probably should catch up to his brother Assembly Walker or sister Assembly Walker. Got some defilers being built. This is nice. These defilers, you can see the on the mini map here, the edge of the vision range. They're right outside the vision range. So let's see. I hear Mirabelle. I don't see where she is. Let's see. She's up in this army. So this is a maxed out army, and Unlucky is banking a bunch of resources. Now, probably what Unlucky should be doing is expanding his production base at least a little bit. But Unlucky is being really overly conservative with this, and it may end up costing him, because this army over here is getting larger and larger. The Science Walker is catching up with the Radiation Cascade. This Assembly Walker, while not really outfitted for anything, is coming. So this is going to be a pretty nasty attack when it happens. And unfortunately for Unlucky, because he's not scouting properly, it's going to be a bit of a surprise. Ooh, we have another hero out for Unlucky. Let's see if they can manage to kill Nufi with these Blade Troopers. Nufi is an incredibly powerful hero. That is actually a major win for Unlucky, killing that nasty hero. That would otherwise be a thorn in his side. Also, this bridge, I think, has gone down, so it's not traversable anymore. The Blade Troopers do basically get sacrificed, but killing the hero is a nice touch. I really want to see this Radiation Cascade go off. I really do. That's going to be exciting. These Blade Troopers are a wonderful scouting tool. And finally, our Novus player is scouting with them, does lose one to a bit of Miss Micro. And here come the Defilers. Nice quick reaction from Unlucky, catching most of the Defilers in an EMP. We have the Vacuum Destabilizer going off on top of that Walker. Probably going to kill the... Yep, most of those Defilers go down, and the Walker is being badly damaged. But it does not hit the hidden Radiation Cascade Science Walker. So these Defilers going down pretty quick. We have a responding super weapon from the Hierarchy player doing a decent amount of damage. Let's see. Mirabelle's still there. Very low in health, though. Let's see. Manages to get her out. Well played. Still doing decent in terms of army size, but again, if he had built a couple more production structures, he'd be able to remax a lot quicker. Now, these units are all stealth. There is an upgrade that causes units under the field inverter shield to become stealth. I think he can see this one field inverter, but not the other one. So here's the Science Walker with the Radiation Cascade immediately being targeted by Unlucky. So that's not great for Melon. does lose one of those prongs and loses the super weapon because of it. Pulling it back to do the rebuild on that. This walker is definitely going to go down pretty quick. This probably should be sold off. This one just has a couple of... Ooh, little glitch there. This walker just has a couple of weapon accelerators on it, so not super scary in terms of its damage potential. These resources being harvested by MelonFace, this could be really bad for Unlucky because these are probably some of the last good resources on the map. However, MelonFace is basically out of resources on his side of the map, so that's about all he has access to at this point. That walker did indeed go down. There it is. Just, again, being fed to Unlucky for additional resources. Ugh, painful. Maribel mostly healed back up and going to do a nasty bit of AoE damage to this walker here. Unlucky is almost entirely remaxed. This is looking really bad for Melon, who's almost out of resources. I don't think he rebuilt. This Reaper Drone's just been sitting there doing nothing. This walker probably going to go down pretty soon due to this giant Novus army here. Losing its legs, losing its arms. Ouch. Right now, I would say this is more poor play by Melon than good play by Unlucky, but I guess the result is basically the same. Melon, I don't think, is even going to get a building crush with this. There's just too many amplifiers. I think that was a sell-off that was a little too late. Yep, dies just before the sell-off completes. We do have another walker coming down here, but it's a long ways off from being useful. And it's just the one. Meanwhile, our Novus player has 40,000 resources in the bank. That's a lot of units that can be produced for that cash. However, for Unlucky's part, this is about the last resources on his side of the map. And there's not a ton there. This is being harvested as well by Unlucky. I don't know if that was a glitch. I saw something that looked like an amplifier attack. There's another walker coming down for Melon. But, yeah, so Unlucky still has 2 resource deposits that he can harvest, whereas basically Melon is on his last one. There's nothing else. Just nothing there, nothing up here. So it's looking like it's going to be really, really hard for Melon to pull this off with his remaining resources. And again, he lost a Reaper drone, did not replace it. Actually, they're starting to go out. So there's 2. I think there's one more that he can build unless it's hiding somewhere. This army looking like it's in a good position to come crush the hierarchy base. Or maybe it manages to scout a Reaper drone. That Reaper drone is going to last all of about 10 seconds. And there it goes. This one's probably also going to go down. Army getting caught a little bit by the mash drop. Nice catch. Actually kills like half the army. But again, this Reaper drone, another Reaper drone going to go down. This one vulnerable as well, walking right next to this flow conduit. They're finally starting to get his opponent's resources a little bit. But this could be the end if Unlucky has presence of mind to see where these units are. That's going to be a lost Reaper drone right there, and potentially these other 4 are going to go down. There's one not harvesting. So we do finally have that combined push that I was talking about like 15 minutes ago, where there's going to be 3 walkers next to each other, plus this Science Walker with its fully charged up super weapon. But this is basically, I think, going to be MelonFace's last hurrah, because these Reapers are obvious. It's known where they are. Melon has a ton of Unlucky has a ton of resources banked up that he's going to be able to use, and there's just no resources left on the map, and all of the harvesting potential is about to be killed by this little army here. So, let's see what you got, Melon. This is your last hurrah. It would be really funny if the Reapers actually killed Mirabelle. They're all targeting her. No, all target Mirabelle. Oh, come on. It would be so hilarious if they took her out. Oh, gets her out just in time. Oh, that would have been so funny. That little last act of revenge. And these last two sources of income for Melon are about to be exploded. And down they go. Kind of a bad manner redirection turret here. Building base defenses in his opponent's, right outside of his opponent's base. Okay, here come the walkers. Yeah, that Science Walker needs to catch up to his... Come on, Science Walker, don't be forgotten. I really need to see that Rad Cascade. There it comes. Oh no. Instant reaction with the vacuum imploder. Oh my god, exploding all of that Walker's hard points and all of its... Look, it's gone. It's basically gone. So few units left already. That was painful. That was very painful. Oh, come on. I want to see the Rad Cascade. We're not going to see the Rad Cascade go off, I don't think. This is probably the last thing that Melon gets to do, the last attempt to make something happen with these walkers. And I think there's too much army. There's amplifiers everywhere, there's field inverters everywhere. And there's just nothing for the hierarchy player. Even if he gets the Rad Cascade off, it's not going to do anything. I'd love to see a perfect Rad Cascade right on this army, though. Let's see. Does manage to take out a couple of buildings with those Walker feed. This Walker's about to go down probably any second. This Walker's about to go down any second. There it goes. There it goes. And that's everything. Let's see the Rad Cascade go off. Come on. Release it. Release it before it's too late. No Rad Cascade. We don't even get to see it go off. The Science Walker melts. There's the quit from MelonFace. Unlucky has won. I was really hoping to get to see that go off. And yeah, look, Unlucky almost double the resources of MelonFace. Oh, that was a fun match. I was pretty sure relatively early on that it was not going to be a win for MelonFace just because he kept feeding those walkers one at a time to Unlucky without doing a lot. There was that one big attack there early on that did a lot of damage, but there was never really a big follow-up to that. So well played by both players. Unlucky, I think, was a little more passive. That game probably could have been a lot shorter if Unlucky was a little more proactive at several points. But always excited to be able to bring a Universe at War match, especially one of that quality. So this has been Wayward, this has been Universe at War, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.